when I originally calibrated, I calibrated at like Guardian 4.
Okay.
So like 1400 MMR or something, like 1.5K. And then I
Okay.
just slowly lost MMR over a period of like forever, just drifted down and down and down and down.
Okay. Guardian. That is
Yeah.
okay. All right. So your
So
current MMR is 300, you said.
yeah. And
Okay.
so my peak was like 1.5K.
If you like our content, please do like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification button below so you will be notified when a new video will be released. Let me think for a moment, because I need to rethink how I know the game works to like down to whatever like what's gonna be happening here, and think about like how I can help you improve as a player, right? Like you said, a lot of the things about pulling and this and that, and like to be fair, a lot of those things work in like a little bit higher MMR than where you're at, right? So where you're
Yeah, and
at,
this is
mhm.
this is basically what I'm finding, right? So I'm in such a low skill game, low quality game
Uh-huh.
that all the streamers and all the experience and everything I have is talking about like, coordination, ganking,
Exactly.
pulling, stacking, all of that stuff, right? And I can queue
Right.
into a game and some guys have no experience whatsoever, and sometimes I have like a booster or something and it's just a crazy game.
And it's just annihilating everybody, right?
Yeah, like morph mid and then it's just over.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm just like trying to picture myself in like being in that bracket and what I would do to try to gain MR. And you obviously want to improve as a support player, right? And not like as a
Yeah,
core and stuff.
yeah. I know maybe I might have to switch up to core to actually build MMR, but I'm just thinking, you can influence the game quite a lot in Herald if you play well as support. So I find when I have a good game, then I can make a big difference.
Okay.
But sometimes it's just like you can't have enough difference. If I win my lane and I've got two other lanes that are really bad, I can't win that game.
Okay. So what is like a good game in your eyes? Like what is happening in a good game for you, that is? Not like for your whole team, but like in the game that where you feel like you have the highest impact, what is actually happening?
I think that's where I will have probably picked the right hero to start with. And then I'll be supporting my lane.
Okay.
Um, so I try, and obviously the whole aim is to support the core, right? So you're trying to get him an XP level advantage over his
Okay.
opponent. So and also going and playing quite aggressively if you can. So if I like playing ogre because you can obviously bully like level 1, 2, 3 or
Right,
whatever
right,
you
right,
can be
right,
quite.
right, right.
So that's what for me like playing a good lane is you come out of it 60% of the time and you've won the lane.
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
I'm reasonably good at laning as ogre. I'm not good. I'm reasonably good, right?
Okay. And what kind of like heroes are you normally playing apart from ogre?
So I might play like Undying, or I follow the meta to some extent. So obviously Crystal Maiden's quite strong at the moment.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's whatever is fairly reasonable in the meta at this time. So
Right.
the reason I went like ogre and null talisman is because again people are talking about getting like two nulls and brown boots start. So I was thinking maybe I should do that rather than going for some of the smaller things. So that's kind of what I
Interesting.
did here.
Interesting. Okay. So who told you that to go brown boots to null start?
So this is me following, watching like Speed or Jenkins or yourself or Bowie or whoever on the various different platforms, and
Okay.
that's just like something I picked up a few days ago about how people are doing null talismans or wraith bands straight away.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, it's like it's true, but there's a lot of like things that you're kind of missing before you get to that. So people don't actually buy null talisman wraith bands like as their starting item, but they will build up into it. Like for example, they will use their courier when they get 500 gold, and they will buy one and bring it out.
Hmm.
But at the start of the game, they will try to start with more regen and other stat items so they can fight better
Okay.
in the lane. Okay, because so the first thing I'm gonna teach you right now is like at your bracket, the thing I would mostly focus on is like obviously one trying to win lanes, right? And
Yeah.
ideally supports who can try to like sort of, you know, solo win or like kind of like try to take the games into their own hands, right? So
Yeah.
Ogre Magi is one of the good example because he can, if he gets farmed, then you can like fire blast people, you're gonna multicast and you're gonna solo kill people, you know, that can happen all the time, right?
Yeah.
Other heroes would be like Jakiro, for example, who
Yep.
can push towers with liquid fire, and you can like focus on objectives and try to take down objectives, and you still have really good team fighting capabilities.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So since you're playing Ogre Magi a lot, let's try to fix your Ogre Magi and see how we can like make it legit, where like you can actually gain MMR playing this hero.
Right.
Okay. All right. So you start out with Tango and Null Talisman, and I get the point. Like, you know, at your MMR, people are probably like not really thinking too much about, you know, these build-ups, and you're not focusing too much on the micro thing. So you just want to buy like the items right away. You know, it's like it comes in one piece. You're good to go. You know what I mean? But if in the future you keep playing, like what I want you to think about is that in your bracket, I really assume people don't buy a whole lot of regen on their heroes. And if you play a hero like Ogre and you keep on spamming your Ignite on them, they will slowly chip away their HP and you will just like win your lane. I'm assuming that's what happens in a lot of your games, right?
Yeah, I mean, I only just literally changed up to like null in the last few days. So normally
Okay.
my old start would be like maybe go Uv, 6 tangos and like 2 mangoes, that kind of thing.
Yes, I like that way better. I like
Yeah,
that so much
yeah.
better. That build is much better because you can just like hit them, slow them down, and they can't run away from you. Right?
Right. So
It's
that's what I was doing for
yeah.
like the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks before this.
That's way better build. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Than going like something like this. So you have a little bit more regen, you have ways to slow them down, and then after that you can buy a null talisman with your first gold if you want to.
Right.
Okay. Alright, so level 1, you get the bounties. Okay, cool. Some Huskar runs in, you chase him down. But see, there, if you had an Orb of Venom, that guy's 100% dead. Right? Because he's gonna be like 200 MS or something, and you're gonna be just chasing him down. And you'll just kill him. So that's really, really good. If you would have had Orb of Enemy. So first thing to understand is that as an Ogre Magi, you're always going to be stronger than everybody else, right? As long as you're not running into towers. Level 1, you're over here fighting the Huskar. Like at that point, you shouldn't be afraid of anything, and you should be okay with like actually chasing him down. Like you got to utilize the strength of your hero. You have 7 armor, you're sort of fast if you have Orb of Venom and you're hitting them, and you just want to chase this guy completely out. If you chase him and you ignite him again, he might even die if he doesn't run back into the tower, right? So like in the early games, you want to like completely utilize the strength of your hero as best as you can. Okay, so first wave, you're like not even in the lane, so you already like lost a bunch of experience, which is kind of unfortunate. Then you go back to the top lane, you chase him. Okay, your Invoker Sun strikes. All right, you won this game, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming this Invoker might have been like a Smurf or something.
Yeah, right. So this is what I'm going to say. So that's why I wanted to show you this game, right? Because this is a average 300 MMR game, right? But I just wanted, let's see how it plays out, and I just wanted to get your view on the end of it as to whether this feels like a 300 MMR game.
Okay, sure.
It's weird, man.
Okay, don't worry. I will definitely check it out. Okay, so, all right. First of all, in your bracket, like, you know, this whole idea of like giving your core experience, you know, make them stronger and such, right? I want you to like, although that is a good thing to do, at your bracket, that's probably not a good thing to do. Okay. At your bracket, I would say it's a lot better if you stay in the lane and you try to bully the opponents out. And you let your core just farm. And you still soak up the experience from the lane.
Oh, okay. So that's something I've been doing a huge amount of. Sometimes I'll try and give them as much XP as possible.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I know what you mean. It sometimes backfires.
Listen, don't do that, okay? Especially in your bracket, okay? In your bracket, these players are going to be more comfortable with getting all the gold in the lane than you just giving them XP and letting them just try to last hit creeps and getting all the XP, okay?
Right.
And you as a support, because you want to climb, you need to make sure that you have enough XP and gold and whatever as well, and you're able to scale yourself into the game. Because you're playing a hero who can like actually solo kill people later, right? And the best way to win lanes is actually bullying people out of the lanes, not by giving your core solo XP, especially in your bracket. Okay? So that's like the first thing that I will actually tell you in this game. So like you running around like this, like it's not gonna make you like this pull and stuff. It's kind of interesting, and it can do a lot of really good things. But at the same time, like your carry won't know how to deal with this.
This is what I find, right? Like, sometimes when I do like I go off and pull, and I'm getting pinged saying ogre jungle report.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Okay.
what? I'm pulling the lane. It's not,
Yeah, yeah.
jungling. What are you
Listen,
talking about?
that's the thing. These people in these games, they don't understand those things, right? So you have to adapt to your like bracket and what you're playing with.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So I'm like trying to think about like what's actually happening. I'm trying to think of like brand new players playing the game and like what they would do and how you can counter them. And the way that you should do in this game is like you gotta literally forget almost majority of the stuff that you know about the professional games and what they do, because that shit does not apply in your bracket.
It doesn't know.
Like absolutely does not even apply remotely. Okay? So what you gotta do is you gotta think about how to become this like monster killing machine support player.
Yep.
Okay? And then you should also just play the game for fun. In order for you to climb out of this bracket. Okay? These are like the most important things I'm gonna tell you right now. Alright? So in this game, how do we accomplish that? So first of all, you're playing Ogre. This hero is amazing at fighting level 1 and level 2 and level 3. He's just incredible. The best thing for you to do is stay in the lane, harass your opponent, right? And just like utilize your HP and your like armor or whatever. I see you're good at like, you know, using your spells, hitting them, backing off at the right times. Do the same thing, but try to stay in the lane. And soak up the XP in your lane. Okay? Screw your carry player. He's gonna get farmed no matter what. Okay?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care if you're pulling or not. Right? Unless he deliberately asks you to go pull the lane, you don't need to actually pull.
Okay.
In your bracket, okay? Now, some people might think like this is like terrible advice, blah blah blah. Guys, you gotta understand this is 300 MMR, right? So at 300 MMR, you gotta play differently. Yeah. Because you gotta play according to your allies and your opponents and what they're doing. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. So, let's see here. You just like try to deny some creeps. You're playing with your Terrorblade. You hit them, then you start running because they're hitting you. Then you hit them back, and they just like super annoying. Your Terrorblade is like, oh, I don't want to live anymore. I don't know what to do. I'm just dying, and you're kind of feeling the same way.
Yep.
So you definitely, by the way, when you like start to get to like 60% HP, you already want to like start chugging tangles all the time, because if the opponent sees your high health and they see that their HP is low, it's very unlikely that they're gonna come at you and fight you. And if they do, you have more resources available than they do. Okay, so these are the little things that in the laning stage that you need to be doing so that you can like scare your opponents into not like trying to fight you. Okay.
Yep.
But when they see that you have like 20% HP, they're so confident to just run at you.
Yeah, so I was kind of rushing like the second nulls, because I'm thinking, hey, once I get second nulls, I can probably have enough stats to like have some to maintain my health.
Right. Okay, so another thing is like, I want you to think, or I want you to change your mentality a little bit too on another matter. Are you writing these things down like as I'm talking about it? Yeah. Okay, cool. Because you're gonna wanna, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff we'll probably talk about, and you're gonna need to remember these things. Okay, so Phil, right? That's your name.
Yeah.
Okay, Phil. So Phil, like when you're playing in these games, you gotta understand the perspective of yourself and the perspective of your opponent. So however you think whatever would happen, or like when something happens to you, right? How you would react is very likely how the opponent will react.
Right.
Okay, so that means imagine you're playing as a Huskar and you're always losing HP with using your burning spears, and then your opponent is an Ogre Magi and he's running at you with Ignite, Orb of Venom, and just keeps smacking you in the face, and you're using your burning spears and you're losing a lot of HP while you're using it, right?
Yep.
Your opponent Ogre Magi has 7 armor, you have 2 armor. Your opponent Ogre Magi has Orb of Venom and like let's say 6 tangles, and you have no regen. How would you feel if you're the Huskar?
Problem.
You would have no idea how to react, right?
Yeah.
In the situation. Yeah. So if you think about it that way, then you already know how you need to play in the game to destroy your opponent. Right?
Right.
This is what Ogre Magi is so freaking good at. Is that he's just so good at just keep running at them. So when you play Ogre again, right, you need to be like this very aggressive macho dude. Okay?
Yeah.
And you don't really need to get out of a fight until like you're, let's say, at 30% HP or 20% HP. You know? You gotta utilize your health pool as like it's like a tool, right? Like you're not dead until you lose all 100% of your HP, right?
True.
If you're at 40%, you're still alive. That means you can still fight, you can still cast spells, you can still linger around and do something. Now,
Okay,
if you man up as an ogre, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's cool. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so if you man up as an ogre versus anybody else, they're the ones who are more likely to run away from you. So if they run away from you, then you can chase them down and kill them, right? Even if you have 20% HP. Because now they're running,
true.
they're no longer attacking you anymore. You get what I
Makes
mean?
sense, yep.
So
Yeah.
next time you play ogre, this is something that you need to remember. But also Undying, same thing. You man up. You man up and you make them stand down and run away. Don't be the first one to run, because whenever you get in these engagements and you're the first one to run, you're losing.
Right. Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay? Because now you're not attacking and they're attacking you.
Right.
And this is why regen is important, because when you have regen, you know that you always have that resource available after you get out of this engagement to heal yourself back up.
Right.
And then once you heal yourself back up, what are you going to do?
Fight.
You're going to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're not going to know what to do anymore. Because in your bracket, nobody's going to buy freaking tangos with their courier. No one's going to buy healing cells with their courier. They're just going to stay low HP. And then they're going to be like 20% health. You're going to have like 80 or 90% health after you regen up. And they're just going to run away. And they're like, oh, I give up.
Yeah.
And then your carry is going to be so happy because he's going to have nobody in the lane to fight against him.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So here again, like for example, this Huskar, if he comes to you like this and you turn around, you go on him, and he had an orb of venom, I'm pretty sure if you chase him down, this Huskar is dead.
Yeah.
And there's no way that, and he's just gonna keep on running away, right? Like this is a very good example. Maybe you might die to the Venomancer, but that's okay, because you're the ogre and you're gonna kill off their carry or something.
Yeah, I did find like this was quite a challenging start, like having the nulls, and like at this point in the game, I found that I had no mana, and I was like, this is quite different, because as you say, normally I'd just pop a couple of mangoes down.
Yeah.
But I didn't have them, so I was like, okay, I need to wait for this second nulls and see if that makes any difference.
Right. Makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, mangoes are great because it gives you HP regen as well, right? Until you actually run out of mana, which is great. So next thing I want to tell you is like when you play heroes like ogre and you're like, you see in this game, you're kind of like standing in the lane with your Terrorblade like this, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that people will always do, which is really probably very effective in your game, is like if people stand like this and they try to fight in this area, what you can do with heroes like ogre is you can just go here to the side and you can wrap around behind them, right? Closing off the angle of their escape.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens is if Huskar is here and he's farming, and you come from behind here, and you go to the Huskar and you ignite him, what is the Huskar going to do? Where is he going to run?
He's running, trees or something.
He's running towards you now, right?
Yeah.
Because he wants to get back to the tower to save himself. So he's going to be running towards you because you're coming from the back over here.
Right.
And now the Huskar is just going to be dead instead.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. But like if you stay in the lane like this with your Terrorblade, then you're not gonna be doing a whole lot to like actually help him like in this situation, you know. But for the most part, I do want you to stay in an area where you're still getting experience from the creep waves.
Okay.
Because the higher levels you are, the stronger your spells become, and the more likely that you will actually carry the game.
Yep.
And also when your carry is like not farming in the lane or is like standing back, I want you to be getting these last.
Right.
This is very important. Like it's okay for you to take last from your carry if he's not actually in the lane farming.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Okay, cool. So you go for the bounty. Very nice. So here's a very good example. You're gonna go ward, I guess. So here's a very good example where instead of casting Ignite from the frontier, what should you have done?
Run around.
You should have wrapped around from the back, ignited, and then boom, this Huskar is dead again.
Right. Okay.
And ideally, your Terrorblade is also casting Metamorph and hitting the Huskar.
Right.
Idea, right? But like you just ignite it from here, it's like it doesn't really accomplish a whole lot, you know?
Yeah, so, I think part of the frustration I found was that like I have no guarantee that the core's going to do anything, right? If I can approach him, sometimes they just sit there and they just wait for the creep wave. Come on, guys.
No, I get it, but like the thing about Ogre Magi is that you can actually fight people 2 versus 1, and you can come out ahead, right?
Right.
Like if you did this move, whatever you did, but you were wrapped around here behind him already, and then ignited, he's dead. Because you'd be smacking him in the face, and he would be running back towards the tower and dying.
Right.
Because you're already behind him. And then this Venom might also die right after, because the Venom's like, oh, my Huskar is dying, I gotta help him, and he's gonna hit you. He's gonna stand there, and then he's also dead now. Right?
True.
So in like 3 minutes, you've already found a way to literally win your lane all by yourself.
Right,
Okay? So these are the things that you want to remember. So early game, you want to, try to get over Venom, try to get like at least like 2 sets of tangles. Eat your tangles, like even before you enter the fight, like before you go from back here and like start hitting them, you can eat up a tangle and then go into the fight. So you're healing while you're fighting them.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, oh my god, he's literally taking no damage. What's happening? You know? Like they actually will have no idea what's happening if you do that. Okay? These are things like players actually do in like back in Dota 1 days even. And like I'm literally like going back, like I'm trying to think back at like how, if I was in this game, how I would actually win this game as an Ogre Magi. I'll literally just keep wrapping around behind them over and over and over again because the lane's pushing to me. I wrap around, keep igniting and hit them in the face, and they're just gonna die over and over again, and we're gonna have like 10 kills in the top lane.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you're even pulling, which is great. You know, like I can see that your ideas of pulling and stuff and the timings are all there. But like these kind of things, it's useful like after you kill the opponents already as well. Because at some point they're gonna stop coming into the lane, you know? Like I want you to think in these games, the best time to actually pull is when the opponents have already left your lane or like they've died.
Right.
Okay, because there's downtime and your carry is like very happy, like there's nobody in his lane, so you can just do that. But if people are in your lane, then you should try to think about like how you can kill them.
I think that's where I made a mistake before, is I've like pulled in the lane when the carry's been like threatened, and then they ping you, and then you're not there, and then you're like, oh shit, the timing wasn't right.
Yeah, exactly. So think about first like killing your opponent and like getting them out of the lane.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Like that's what you gotta have. Like in your MMR, your mentality needs to be like a killer mentality. Because the moment you have that killer mentality, everyone's gonna be scared of you, and they're gonna give you whatever you want. Right. And if somebody shows up, you smash your keyboard at their face. You know, just use whatever spells you have, just throw at them, and next time they're not gonna show up in front of you anymore.
Right.
Okay. ATB bottom because there's a fight. Run at them. Yeah, I feel like if you had an Orb of Venom in this game, you'd be getting so many kills.
I know, I did think that at some point. I was like, oh.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
You got words. You're helping out your teammates. I get it. All good. Where's the tome? Anybody buy the tome in your game? Do you guys normally buy tome in your games?
Do you know what? Sometimes they buy it, but sometimes I buy it, right?
Yeah, listen. 10 minutes, random. I want you to buy that tome, you know?
Yeah.
Buy that tome, get your experience, okay? Don't worry about your teammates in these kind of games. Get your experience, get your levels up. So you're already planting wards, you're already de-warding and stuff, which is great. You know? Just, what the heck? Even your opponent's support is like planting wards and sentries. Hilarious. Okay,
this is the thing, right? This is what I'm finding in my 300 MMR bracket, is that people, I've had smoke ganks in 300 MMR, right? I don't know what's going on. I'm having rampages and all sorts of stuff. I don't know.
So the thing is, like, that's probably because some of those guys are obviously watching some competitive games and they're also watching YouTube videos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're also trying to learn, and they're trying to get better. But the problem is, like, their individual abilities are just not there to begin with.
Right.
right? Like the knowledge can always be there, but your individual abilities is what you need to like be improving on.
Yep.
Okay, so in these games, like the biggest thing for you to improve on is like changing your mentality as to like what will let you play better. And the way that will let you play better is like having that killer mentality, looking around the map, like thinking, where can I go to kill people?
Right.
You know, where can I go to like get a kill for myself or some more experience for myself? Where can I go that there's no one on my team farming, and I will go and clear that lane up so I can get a bunch of XP and gold and while pushing the lane out for myself.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more selfish in your games to accomplish that, because in your bracket right now there's actually probably gonna be a bunch of space available, or at least some place on the map where you can go and kill somebody.
Yep.
Right? Even if you have 4 core players on your team, right? Like literally 4 carries in your team. Like you have a Slark and a Terrorblade, right? In your team. Like it doesn't mean that you can't. Like that only means that these guys are always going to be farming lanes, and there's always going to be a lane that you can go to where you can get a kill. That's how I see it. You know? That's how I see it. Like imagine if the Slark and this Underlord start fighting one-on-one, and all of a sudden you just show up in this lane and you just ignite and stun them. There's a very good chance you might just kill them.
Yeah.
So as an Ogre Magi, like especially in the mid game, I want you to like look around the map and see where are the low HP heroes, and I want you to run there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and those are the guys you want to play with. At least those are the lanes you want to play with. Wow. See, this time you just show up with the sniper and you just get a free kill on him. Because you're playing with your like, you know, Smurf or whatever. In this
right.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. There seems to be a few. There's a couple
yeah,
of them.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this Invoker is like 100% a Smurf. Maybe he's not 300 MMR, but he might be like, let's say 2000 MMR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like it's not like super high player, but he's still like higher than all of you guys in this game.
Yeah,
right. And sometimes it's really helpful for you to gain MMR is to like find that guy in your team and try to like see if you can make plays on his lane.
Yeah.
As well. And like get some kills going. You know? Or just ignore his lane and try to pressure the other lane so you guys are winning 2 lanes at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, this guy is like sunstriking and finding kills like all the time with his Invoker. It's hilarious. Yeah, this guy is 100% not like some 300 MMR player. That's for sure.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Okay. So now you're going for a Midas. You go to the mid lane, you just farm up a little bit. You go Invis, you go top, you want to plant some wards, it seems like. Then you farm up some more. Now you got yourself a Midas. Happy guy. Oh, what the heck? You just died to... What'd you die to? You're just like hitting a Plague Ward?
Yeah, no, so I didn't see Sniper across the other side.
right. So let's try to... Yeah, let's try to avoid the guy who's like the highest level, right? Like if you click scoreboard and you see like who the highest level hero on your opponent is, like you can try to avoid going into the lane with that guy. So you can like try to farm everybody else in the game. Like it's generally pretty good to think about like who's feeding on your opponent team and like try to kill them over and over again as well. In your bracket, like if you want to like keep on snowballing your game.
Right.
So now you got a Midas and you're kind of just farming up the jungle. Okay. Alright. Not bad. The Terrorblade died top. It's like so random. Like I can't even imagine seeing like the map like this, for me at least.
Yeah.
Now you died again in the mid lanes.
I got nuked.
Yeah, this is actually, you died like twice here already, so
yeah.
Like in your games, like you're definitely gonna want to think about like the lane that you keep going to and where you're dying, and let's try not to go into that lane anymore. Right? So in a lot of games, what people would do if like there's this really strong hero, it's like you would just ignore him. And you would try to get him to go to another lane, and maybe in another lane you'll have a better angle to kill that guy. Like for example, instead of going mid where the sniper is just like camping and sitting there and farming, what if you just went top or like bottom, you know? And like you try to like pressure that lane. And maybe if the sniper goes there, then you can actually kill him. But in this mid lane, you can clearly tell like he's already camping this area and he's like super farmed and he probably has wards there and stuff like that.
Right.
So let's try not going there. And yeah, I can also see that the sniper is probably a smurf as well, because he's killed a lot of creeps and yeah, I can see that.
This is standard for my 300 MMR game, right? Where you just have some crazy, weird, random stuff going on.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So one really okay, and I noticed like in your bracket, people keep running into the mid lane nonstop. So one thing I want to tell you is like in these games, if you want to find yourself more farm, also as a support, and also like after you finish warding and whatever, right, and provide some vision for your team, what you can do is you can just go to one the silence and keep pushing it out nonstop. Okay, just don't die. You know, like push out the lane and like move back a little bit and see if anybody reacts to the pressure that you're applying. If nobody reacts to the pressure, then you go back there and you push the lane again.
Right.
And then you go back again, you know? Just keep doing that over and over, right? And if only one person comes there, then you stun them and you like cast your spells on them. Okay?
Yeah.
What I'm noticing in your bracket is everybody keeps going middle after like 15 minutes. Okay? So let's try to avoid the mid lane. Let's go try to play like on one of the side lanes and keep pushing that lane out and just try to punish the guy who's coming into that lane.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thinking at this point is that I'm still trying to support everybody, right? Because they're all relatively low. So I'm thinking, hey, I need to be with the group. So I'm not being greedy for like pushing split lane or side pushing.
But that's the whole point though. Like in your bracket, you gotta be greedy.
Yeah.
You know, like you actually have to be greedy if you want to win the games. And you're not really being greedy because you're kind of just like helping somebody push out the lane, right? Or you're by pushing out the lane, you're allowing your teammates to farm jungle creeps instead, which is probably what all these guys want to do anyway.
Yeah, true.
They just want to farm jungle creeps anyway. So you're like literally doing them a favor by pushing the lane out, right? Now, going into a team fight is okay. If like you see all your teammates grouped up somewhere, then you can just TP there.
Yep.
Right? But for the most part, you definitely want to just keep on split pushing and getting lanes out to get yourself higher levels, especially after this 15-minute mark when everybody's just grouped up in the mid lane like this.
Yep.
Because what's been happening is like you died 3 times in the mid lane, like the last 8 minutes or something.
Yep.
And you're not very happy with that because you guys aren't really like accomplishing anything either. Like this is Dota. There's like an entire map here, right? There's like top lane, there's mid lane, and bottom lane. You don't have to like all sit into like one lane, right?
Yeah.
And if you feel like you can fight with your team, then feel free to do it. But for the most part, like your initial reaction should be like, okay, can I go top and take this tower top lane? Right? Because by doing that, you might even bring people to TP to this tower from your opponent's side, and now there's no longer 5 heroes middle. And now your team, if they want to fight, they're gonna fight like 4 versus 4 or 3 versus 3, or like you TP there. Then now you can fight them, outnumber them.
Right.
Or if somebody TP's top, now you can utilize the strength of your Ogre Magi, which is really good at casting all your spells on one hero.
Right.
You can just toss a stun, toss a ignite, and all of a sudden, like this Lion or Venom or whoever TP's top is like has lost half their HP and they're gonna run away, and now you're gonna go back to hitting your creeps and farming some more.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Let's keep watching. Midas, it's on cooldown. There we go. Alright, let's try to prioritize that too and get some Midas going.
So now I'm kind of thinking what you're thinking. Now I'm like thinking, okay, maybe I should like do what you're saying, right? So I do end up pushing top, I think here.
Yeah.
To some extent. Oh, can't remember.
Yeah, but imagine like I wanna point that out, right? Look what happened when you did that.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go back a little bit, right? So you go to this. Wait, it's not yet. I'll go back a little bit more. So here, you're alive, you TP, you have 4,700 net worth, right? So your team doesn't even have any ideas of going to this lane top, right? So you go there, you could just clear this stuff up. And look at that. And then you clear up another lane. And in a matter of minutes, you just farmed 1,000 gold.
Yeah, right.
You see that? But if you went middle again, there's a very high chance that you just died again in this lane.
Yeah, that's why I think because I died a couple of times, I was like, this is making no sense, right? I should not fight with them now.
Yeah.
I'll just go and keep pushing top.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see like how amazing it is to just like be able to push out side lanes in your bracket, right? Like this is something that you should actively think about. Get pushing side lanes out. Because everybody on your opponent's side is always going to be playing around the mid lane.
Right.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under
Do people actually use the mic in your games?
No, never.
Okay.
Dire's
Do you use your mic in your game?
Very rarely,
Okay.
because I don't really feel like, you know, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure. I feel like I know how to make the calls, right?
Right,
I feel like-
exactly. No, that's fine. You don't need to. Right? Like I said, your goal as a 300 MR player is like you should focus on your game mechanics. You should focus on having a better killer mentality, learning how to like push lanes out, right?
Yep.
And that's gonna naturally make you better. And do this while like actually enjoying the game. Like do this with like playing heroes you like to play. You know?
Yeah.
Because like the more you try and force yourself into playing the way like a professional plays and like trying to do the right thing and stuff like that where you are at, is gonna like make you go crazy.
It has made me go crazy for the last like 3 months.
Exactly. That's the problem. And I don't know if you got coaching or something or whatever, like from somebody else, or you know,
No.
whatever like anybody else have told you, or any advice you got. Like again, at your bracket, the most important thing is that you just focus on having fun. And like just do whatever you want. Like it literally doesn't matter whether you pull every camp or not, or you support your carry like, you know, the way that Puppy does, or anything like that. What matters is that, you know, you get your game going and you enjoy your game.
Right.
Okay? And I think with what I've said, and if you apply that stuff, you're gonna enjoy your game way more.
Yeah.
Okay? Also, I don't know if you know, but like if you bloodlust yourself, you get like twice the not twice, but like a little bit more of the self bonus attack speed thing. It's pretty OP.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know if you like. What I meant is like, I don't know if you read the skills, because there's a lot of players in your bracket who probably don't even know what their spells do. They just use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Now you're fighting with your team, and now you have items. Great.
Yeah. So I thought because Sniper was strong, I thought if I went like Lotus Orb, maybe I could orb someone against his ult, something like that. So I was thinking,
Right.
I thought I'd have the armor as well.
Okay.
Because normally I'm thinking like, is it going to be Vessel, or is it going to be Pipe, or is it going to? That's, you know, the typical kind of defensive item for your team.
You know what's really good on Ogre Magi if you want to do something like that? Like
Yeah.
try to get like Guardian Greaves.
Okay. Yeah.
Or like you can go, what you can do is you can go Arcane Boots and then split your Arcane Boots into Aether Lens. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
I think those two are like your best choices if you want to like have a really strong impact on Ogre Magi. Is like try to get either Aether Lens or like a Guardian Greaves. And both of those build-ups allow you to have Arcane Boots, which is really good. Like in your bracket, like with how you want to play and how you want to split push and like, you know, like fight early on and stuff. So you have that big mana pool. Like in this game, I mean, you got to level 18, so you have pretty big mana pool now. But even this game, like instead of Grow Bow, you should have kept that Arcane Ring. It would have been a really good item for you.
Right.
So you have like a lot of int, which gives you some damage because his Ogre Magi is like actually an int hero, and it'll also give you some mana and mana regen, and you just keep using that. Okay. I mean, to be honest, the double nose wasn't that bad because it did technically like let you have a bigger mana pool and farm more with it and push lanes out. See, you keep going mid, and that's where you die. You see that?
Yeah.
So you already know the lane where like you're always dying, and let's like try to avoid going to that lane. But whenever you went to the side lanes, good things always happen in this game.
True.
Right? I'm like also watching this game to like try to analyze what the hell like all the other players are also doing. and like what you could do to make the game better for them, but also like have yourself a good game. See, you're doing a good job at like being with your team and fighting with them mid game, right? But when there's like a downtime and everybody's farming, like try to figure out where you can go to just like get lanes out.
Right, that's exactly what it felt like. So I felt we did have a good couple of team fights, but then I felt a bit unsure what to do when it all breaks up.
Yeah. So when all things break up, again, go to your bread and butter. Go get those silence pushed out. You know?
Right.
Go get those silence pushed out. I'm not even gonna tell you how to word. Like, it's actually completely irrelevant. Like, it doesn't even matter, honestly. In your bracket, like, where you plant your words, like, you can literally just keep planting your words on hills. Like, it probably won't even matter. Yeah, exactly. Like, in your bracket, what matters is, like, how you cast your spells, where you're on the map, and, like, how you get yourself some items so that when the fights break out, you're just destroying them.
Right.
Also, Magic Wand would be a really good item to have.
Okay, yep.
I'm pretty sure you probably already know that.
Right, I did. Yeah, I forgot that this game.
Yeah. But it's okay, your build still worked out without it. You even buy a pipe for your team because they have Venomancer. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, it's a lot of gold.
Yeah, man. Look at your network, dude. You're about to surpass this Invoker. Maybe this Invoker isn't that big of a smurf. I don't know. Like, he's just good at using Sunstrike, I guess, you know?
Yeah, it was weird.
Dude, look at you. Look how farmed you are. Dude, if you do what we say and like you start split pushing and stuff while also fighting with your team and warding up, like you would be the highest net worth on your lineup easily.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? As the game went on, I felt stronger and stronger and stronger, and I got fatter and fatter. So, but yeah, yeah.
So what we're gonna do is like try to like whatever I talked about is gonna help you do that better.
Right.
You know, amplify that even further.
I'll take that.
Like, don't lose your ability to like ward and deward, right? That shit's good, right? Like, you're still dewarding, you're still like getting yourself some gold and whatever. Just figure out like how you can still get yourself farmed by like constantly, you know, pushing lanes out.
Dire's middle tower, Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
And also manning up during your laning stage.
Right.
Oh, nice juicy spell prism.
Yeah, I know, right? I was so happy.
Yeah. Then you go Hex, which is really nice. You can Hex multiple people. Yeah, you need to really like watch your minimap too, by the way. Like, you need to understand where the opponents are, because every time you died, it's like 5 people show up there, but you kind of already know they're like there, you know? Like, look at this. You see all these heroes, right? On your minimap. You're farming these ancients, and then you kind of just like walk in a very aggressive way into your opponent and just die.
Yeah, I was trying to come back down, but it was just a fail.
Yeah, but you get what I mean, like,
people there.
Your hero is not good if like he's the one in the front lines like tanking 5 guys, you know? Like, you want to be the one like to cast the spells on your opponents first and see where they are. So that was like really not a good place to go for. And use your teammates late game too, you know? Use your teammates and like how they run in for you and like they start to fight, like use them. Right? Whenever they go in, that's a perfect time for you to like just start activating spells on your opponent and stuff.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Alright. I think that's pretty much enough for this replay here. And late game, I shouldn't probably have to mention this. I don't know if you know this or not, but yeah, you should be bloodlusting your carry or whoever you think is the strongest hero in your lineup. Just keep using it on them so they get that super nice attack speed and movement speed bonus and such. It's very helpful. Okay, anyway, I think it's pretty good for this replay. We definitely talked quite a lot about like what you could do to improve your gameplay, which will naturally win you a lot more games, right? Especially the laning stage, like how you can win your lane stage. So let's summarize that a bit, whatever we talked about. So first things first, play way more aggressively in the lane, right? And try to
Yeah.
sit in your lane and soak XP, and while beating up your opponent, right? Like that's your reward. You beat up the opponent's support or your opponent core that's laning against your carry, and your reward for doing that is the lane XP that you're getting.
Right.
Okay, think about it that way, right? So you want to zone them out, and the way to zone them out also is by wrapping around. Go from behind, especially in the early levels, especially in the first 4 or 5 levels where Ogre Magi is like literally the strongest support, right? Just ignite them and start smacking them in the face and cut off their exit path.
Yep.
Okay. Third thing, after the laning stage is over, or if you kill the opponent, that's the time that you want to pull and get yourself some more XP.
Yep.
Okay. When there's nothing going on in the lane, go ahead and pull and get some more XP and gold for yourself. Fourth thing after the laning stage is try to see where you can get kills on the map. If somebody's low, TP there, cast some spells, get some kills, whatever. Or if nothing is happening and people are just jungling, go push lanes out and get yourself some more XP and farm there, like by pushing especially one of the side lanes.
Yep.
Okay, one of your teammates is most likely going to push the mid lane out, like regardless. So you can focus on like try to push out the side lanes instead. And the side lanes are generally a lot more safer, especially in your MMR bracket.
Yeah.
Like what I see from this one game is like after 15 minutes, like nobody's staying in the side lanes. They're just playing around mid the entire game.
Yes, true.
Right? So you can focus on that. And by doing that, you can get yourself a Midas, you can get it faster, you can, get your Midas going, and then you're gonna buy your big key items later on anyway.
Yep.
Okay. What else is there that we talked about? Oh yeah, try to use your teammates. So when the fight breaks out and your teammates have already engaged, that's the time like you want to go into the fights and like play with your team, because when the fight breaks out, that means they're not focusing you anymore, and you can like cast your spells freely in the fights, and you're not gonna get bursted down, right? But like, let's say when you're split pushing and somebody shows up into your lane, don't like run away right away. Like if there's just one person, try to cast spells on them. Try to push them out of the lane.
Right.
Okay? Because they're gonna be like super weak in comparison to you in most games, I would say. Especially if you're Ogre Magi. If you're like a level 12 Ogre Magi, I don't think anybody can man up and beat you anymore. You're gonna just multicast on them and they're just gonna lose like half their health and they're not gonna know what to do. They're gonna run away, and then you're gonna go back to pushing the lane out and farming.
Right.
Okay. This is a 300 MMR game. Okay, this is like very different in comparison to everything else. It has its own metagame, has its own playstyles, it has its own different kind of players. So you need to adapt to that. Alright, chat? So whatever suggestions you may have is very unlikely that it's applicable to these games. Playing greedy is the key. In this situation, yes. Playing greedy is the key. Okay, but you still need to be the one like to get some words out, because nobody else is going to do that, and that's the one advantage you're going to have over everybody else in your bracket, Okay. Cool. Do you have any other questions in this game?
No, thank you very much. That's been really helpful.
Okay, so I hope you did say you were taking your notes, right? So
yeah, I've got a whole page of notes. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So I want you to use this and like try to practice with it, and I think you're fully capable of doing all that stuff. I feel like one of the reasons why you're probably being dragged down is because you're doing a lot of the right things, but you're doing it for the wrong players.
I think you're right, yeah.
And the thing is, for you to climb out of this bracket, you need to start to focus more on your own game mechanics. Okay?
Yep.
Your own individual skill. And that's how you're going to climb out of this bracket. You're not going to climb out of this bracket by helping your allies. You're going to climb out of this bracket by helping yourself.
Right.
So you got to play a bit more greedy. You got to play a bit more and try to analyze more of your own individual like plays.
Yep.
Okay? Because I believe you can get out of this. I completely believe in it. And I want to know like what, if you have any updates for us and like how your progress is going.
Right, yeah, I'll keep you posted. I'm looking forward to putting this into practice now. It's going to be good.
Okay, cool. All right, again, you gotta show them who's got the big balls. All right, that's you. Okay, You're the one who's got the big balls. All right. So you better show up into these games and start smashing some scrubs.
Right.
Okay. And don't think about any like Smurfs or whatever unless they're on your team and you know that you need to enable this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Other than that, just play for yourself. Don't think about Smurfs. Don't think about anybody else. Play for yourself. Have fun. Number one way for you to climb out. Have fun and like think about your own individual plays and how you can keep improving on that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And all these videos that you may watch is legit gonna be like having the opposite effect in your games if you try to like imitate the stuff that people do in Immortal Bracket and such.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I know. I think that's what happened, man. That's why I went from like Guardian 5 down to Herald 3
Uh-huh.
or something. Because
Uh-huh.
I just was like, oh my god, none of it works. Nothing makes any difference.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's focus on it. Oh, and one more thing we talked about was again buying the Orb of Venom early game and like buying some regen, a little bit more regen. Okay.
Right.
And then I don't mind you going the double null and boost. I think that's completely fine. I think it gives you a lot of power and a lot of strength in the early game.
Yep.
If you want to do it, if you like it, feel free to do it. Just start with the Orb of Venom and the regen first.
Right.
Okay?
Yep. That's
Alright.
great. Perfect.
Cool, Phil.
Thanks a lot. Take it. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye, mate. Alright, guys. That was the first time. I think that's the first time I actually even like talk with a Guardian player. Like like the thing is, the guy knew what he's doing, and he knows like a lot of like for example, he pulled this camp. You know, like I didn't like even expect him to be able to pull this camp. I know players who don't even know how to pull this camp. You know, but the thing is like he's thinking too much about how to play the Dota game properly, and he's not thinking about like how to play the game according to his own game, you know, and where he's at. And the way that you climb out is like by focusing your own individual abilities. I think he will have no problem getting out of his bracket, no problem getting out of Herald. Okay, I really think so. As long as he just focuses on his own game.